All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. As requested, I had a ton of people ask me about scrap videos. So, yeah, I haven't done many scrap videos probably in the last 5 or 6 months. Kind of took a break from that, just went to the scrapyard and kind of got rid of the stuff. But today we'll head to the scrapyard. I'll show you guys that whole experience for anyone who might be new to the channel. First thing we do, we have to separate all the metals and whatnot. So we have some aluminum back there. This stuff goes as steel. This is magnetic. And yeah, we'll run to the scrapyard. I'll show you kind of the whole process if you're new around here. If not, you'll come along for another wonderful adventure. We do have some batteries. This wire right here goes as steel. So the big thing that we started off with doing whenever we head to the scrapyard is we always try to separate our metals first. They don't like it whenever you go there and separate at the scrapyard. So what I'll do is I'll probably make a pile up here. I'll show you kind of my whole hoard of scrap inside the garage, and we'll make it a fun day and enjoy this beautiful weather. I'm also going to do a little bit of unboxing probably from the storage unit that I bought probably about a month ago, because I haven't even touched that stuff. That's how packed the warehouse is. So yeah, let's get into it. Scrap day. Heading to the scrapyard to see how much money we make. Let's do it. So I went ahead and grabbed my clippers. I actually like these better than wire snips or tin snips that people use for clipping wires. But I had this very large bucket here, which has been accumulating wire for quite some time. As you can see, I have a whole array of other things. I will be bringing all this aluminum that's in this. Got some used Teflon pans. Whenever the Teflon gets cut, I end up scrapping those pans. I feel a little skeeved out trying to sell it or donate it. This actually weighs quite the amount. So what you'll see a lot as I'm taking stuff out, should probably also, it's fine. I gotta take out this pan as well. Put that over here. What you'll notice a lot, so like with this, I took this because there's no hose for it. It's an old shop vac, whatever. The top you can scrap. The rest of that whole piece of equipment, if you'd like to call it that, the vacuum cleaner, shop vac, was all plastic, but the top has a pretty decent sized motor in it. What I've noticed over the years is with vacuum cleaners, it really isn't worth my time personally to, rip it apart. So I end up just taking this in as light iron, which you can do, but you can't take in the rest of the shop vac, all the plastic that was on it. And then I go ahead, I clip the cord off, and you might see a lot of scrappers do this. So if you took it in just like that, you get a computer wire price, which might be 10 cents or 20 cents per pound currently. The next step you have to do is then take off this brass plug on the end, like that. Some people also have said that you should take out all these little brass plugs, I guess, on the end of that. I calculate the time it takes me to do this and the amount of weight, and I end up making like $3.50 per hour to take these brass plugs on. Take these brass plugs off. $3.50 is my hourly wage to do this. So I no longer do that. I did a whole project in my very earlier days of YouTube on that. Similar with the vacuum cleaner, unless you really want to make an absolute mess everywhere, it's another thing that only pays you maybe $3.50 or $4 an hour to do that. If you want to make a mess everywhere, you probably get paid a little bit more money, but then there's a lot of time and cleanup because you have plastic everywhere throughout your yard or your driveway. But that is up to you to decide. The beautiful thing about scrapping is everyone does it differently, and apparently through the YouTube comments, I've seen that is very, very plentiful. Everyone does scrapping differently. So this is all steel. This is aluminum. I will be taking all this wire, so that will go up there. This is steel as well. This would go as die cast, so I have a bucket for that I'm not bringing today. What I do here is I try to keep everything as separate as possible, so all the steel goes into the back, and I keep all my better metals up front. This also has another wire that I take off. I don't know if I said it, but right now this wire after you take this this plug off, so you get 20 cents per pound if you keep it with the plug. If you take the plug off, you get $1 per pound. So it's, yes, it's 5 times as much money. And the reason why is because they don't have to pay someone to clip off all the plugs at the scrapyard. They have a big machine that they run the stuff through, the wire, and it shreds it and separates it. But if you have that plug on it, it can really screw up the machine. So they pay someone to literally cut off plugs all day long. Granted, that guy does other jobs, but he can literally do this all day long. That's how many people bring in wire. So I did see that this wire was copper, and so was this green stuff. That's all good stuff. The cable wire, I don't know if I still have some handy. I don't. Oh, here it is. It looks very similar. I don't know what you call this. I don't know if that's coax wire or whatever. That stuff, unfortunately, does not go as insulated copper. It just gets thrown on the steel pile, because some of it has a ridge on the inside, a steel ridge or an aluminum ridge, which isn't a copper ridge. And just like that, we're packed up for the scrapyard. So yes, aluminum up here. I do take everything out of this bin. I'll show you guys when I get to the scrapyard how it kind of works with that. And then of course my insulated wire right here. Now, some people ask me, why don't I strip this wire? A lot of insulated wire, in fact I would say majority of it that you can get kind of residential style, is not worth stripping. All right, anything that's braided, I would highly suggest not stripping. You probably will end up making less money because you're taking away all the insulation and essentially a lot of the weight of this wire, because it's not actually, majority of the weight is not copper. So you end up losing a lot of money if you end up stripping a lot of this stuff. The only stuff that you really should strip, in terms of my opinion, would not even be Romex. I feel like Romex also is kind of a waste of time, but is any kind of like heavy duty wire. Jumper cables, then I think the older stuff has a lot of copper on the inside. There's also a lot of, I don't know if it's like power line wire. I don't know how you're going to get that without dying, but that kind of wire also has a high copper content. But anything that's braided, your toaster wire, your oven wire, any kind of like wire that you use in your house, I highly suggest not stripping. I get a lot of comments about that. Why don't I strip it? And that's because it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay to do it. It also, you lose money and you spend a ton of time doing it. I do have a video on wire stripping and using a wire stripping machine, which is kind of cool. It's got a lot of views and continues to get views to today. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff and you want to watch me strip some wire, go ahead. But we are all, I also have batteries. So I brought some batteries I got from the last trash pickup from my friend Dave. But we are off to the scrapyard and hopefully going to make $1 million, which in reality I don't think is going to happen. I'm aiming for like 55 bucks. Maybe. We'll see. All right. Try not to get hit out here, but I thought I saw some trash out. I did. Thought I saw something hanging out here. So yes, I still pick up trash even when I'm not trash. What the heck? That's actually a very cool looking lamp. I gotta play the guessing game if I want to keep it. It's a little rusty. It's cool, but it's rusty. Don't need some wooden crutches. Must be lamp day here. Will I go ahead and clip these wires? Absolutely. When I get home though, or when I'm at the scrapyard, most likely. Still find scrap even when it's not scrap day or trash day. First step is grab a shopping cart. Sometimes, like this one's kind of a little bit lower, this one's a little bit deeper, these ones are the same. There's one that's actually really big, it's in the back. But grab the one that you probably think fits you best for today. Now this isn't too confusing. That thing has a designated or I should say an assigned weight. So I don't know, it might be 60, it's 54 or 57. 57. It's marked on each side. Now, here's how it kind of works. And I know how this kind of works just because I know how the guy works. This will go in first. Actually, I should probably go in last. Anyway, I'm going to dump all this stuff, all this aluminum into here. All right? That will never leave this shopping cart as long as I'm here. What I mean by that is, I'll show you here. I'm going to, oh, that's my buddy. He actually trash picks in the same area I do.
Still a light out, eh? It's not that, there hasn't been a lot around.
No, there hasn't been a lot, no. I thought there would be a lot more considering everyone's doing spring cleaning. I know.
This wire here, yeah, I strip with the sheetrock knife.
Oh, it's too thin. This green stuff?
No, this.
Oh, it's all it's got.
Oh no,
yeah.
I thought it was a solid copper.
Yeah, no. You can buy baseball bats if you really want. The Typhoon. But in terms of fun things out here, there's nothing really much except for a bunch of fridges. There's some fans. That's an old bike down there. Not a whole lot. See a couple grills. I have a grill back here, but not a whole lot of cool things today. I tried to walk any sort of nails or screws back here, so something like that. All right, would you look at that? Exactly $55. Can you believe it? So the wire, I had 16 pounds of wire. That bucket was kind of heavy. So 16 pounds there. That bucket weighs, I think, 8 or 10 pounds itself. So it's pretty heavy when you have 16 pounds in there. So that was 16 bucks. The batteries, I got $4.50 for. The aluminum, I got $9 for. And the light iron, I got $25 for. And there's some little bit of change mixed in there. It does round up. So I think I got like 54 something, 54.80 or whatnot. But it rounds up to $55. So I think that's what I said I was kind of like expecting or wanting today. Kind of crazy that I'd be so precise there. I tried quickly explaining how the non-ferrous metal works and the aluminum and whatnot. I know I do get a couple questions about like the weight of the shopping cart. I kind of got sidetracked there, but I put all the aluminum into the main basket of the shopping cart. And then I will then go ahead and take like this bucket, which I think that bucket over there had the wire. But I'll take like a bucket of wire or a bucket of copper, and I'll put that on top of the aluminum. I won't dump the bucket out. I'll just take the whole bucket and put it on top. The reason why I kind of do it that way is because I know how the scrapyard here kind of works. Some scrapyards don't use the shopping cart method, which I don't really like. I went to one scrapyard. Well, I'll finish this story first. So, yeah, you put the bucket of copper, the bucket of brass, whatever is on top of the aluminum, the bucket of wire. He will then push the whole shopping cart onto the main scale. What the heck kind of bird is that? And once it's on the main scale, he'll punch in the weight. So maybe it says like 200 pounds. He'll then say, all right, I'm going to do the wire first. So it says 200 pounds on the main screen. He'll then take the bucket of wire, walk it over to the wire section, and dump the whole bucket out, walk back, and then he will then put the bucket, now empty, back onto the shopping cart, and maybe it'll read like 175 pounds. All right, so that means that you dropped off 25 pounds of wire because the bucket was already on the scale full, and now it's on the scale while it's empty. So essentially, that bucket really never left. That was the just initial weight. So you dropped off 25 pounds of wire. He'll then hand you the bucket back. Maybe it'll read like 170 pounds. Even though these things only weigh 2 pounds, let's just say, make it really easy. Now it'll weigh 170 pounds. He'll then take the next bucket, dump that out, bring the bucket back, and maybe it'll read 150 pounds or whatever it is. So he'll say, all right, now you dropped off 20 pounds of whatever it is, brass, copper, whatever you might have dropped off. And then he'll hand you back the bucket, now empty. And then he'll weigh the aluminum. Since he already knows the weight of the shopping cart, he can just kind of punch in the shopping cart at the end. And it makes it very, very simple. That way he doesn't have to separate the aluminum right there and then. He can kind of push the shopping cart to the side, because if I bring it in as the bucket, he'll have to separate the aluminum once he dumps it out, which takes time. There's only one scale at that facility, so you know, when he has to separate the metal even more, like, because aluminum has different kinds of grades, as sheet aluminum, extrusion, cast. If he has to separate that, it's going to hold up the whole line. He pushes that to the side, and he has another worker come over and separate it. So that's why I keep all the aluminum right there and then. If it goes in a bucket for whatever reason, he'll have to separate that just to weigh that bucket and give it back to me. So that's kind of how the scrapyard works in theory, at least for the aluminum and copper and whatnot. And that's how, you know, the whole system with the bucket, because I get a lot of questions. People ask me, like, how do you know the weight of the bucket? How do you, like, not get charged for the bucket weight? Because the bucket weighs a little bit. But yeah, that's how it works. Oh yeah, back to the story about the shopping carts. So some scrapyards don't use the shopping carts, which I think is very, very weird. I had one scrapyard, I went there, and they had 3 or 4 employees come out, and they carried all my stuff in. So I had like a bucket of wire. I had, you know, a bunch of radiators, like cast aluminum copper radiators. And they carried everything to the scale. And I didn't know if I should stand at the van to make sure, like, they knew what they were taking, or should I stand at the scale so I know that I wasn't getting, like, cheated and I can see what was going on. So I ended up standing at the van, and I was like, all right, well, now I'll go to the scale and see what's going on. And by the time I got to the scale, it was already like 50% done. So I was like, did you guys get all that? And they're like, yes. Did you get all that? Yeah. And I was like, how would I know if they didn't cheat me out of like 5 or 10 or 15 pounds here and there, or maybe 3 pounds there or 2 pounds there, because I wasn't even here to see what was going on. So yeah, that's why I don't like that theory, because it was like, I didn't know where to stand then. It was very easy to get cheated. It was nice though. No one touched, well, I didn't have to touch any metal. They pretty much just carried it over. But if it was up to me, I would stick with the shopping cart method. I like that a little bit more. All right, and we made it up here with all my wonderful merchandise. Oh my goodness. So yes, I do have all this stuff, all those boxes over there also, bags. That's what all this stuff is. This is all from that storage unit. It's covered in this because I have random creatures. Doves, bats, they all hang up there in the eaves. I've had this whole thing patched. In fact, you can probably see there's a little hole there, hole up there, hole over there, some over there. There's some really large ones on both sides of the barn, and I've had them patched I don't know how many times. And then I actually had someone comment about hearing the woodpecker, and not a huge fan of the woodpecker. Kind of makes me salty. That guy's got to go, because he's pretty much ruining this whole barn. But anyway, this is what I got here. I know in my storage unit video I didn't go through every single item. What I noticed is a lot of these CDs aren't here, so any of the cases I end up just tossing out because, well, I'm not going to find that CD in a million years. Let's see what's in this bin right here. We do have clothes, which I'll go through another time. Made in China. Well, that's kind of nice. So then, probably perfect for Easter. Kitten Dreams. It's like an egg. Does this open? Might open. Oh yeah, it does open. Isn't that a nice little Easter thing? For any kitten people out there. Now, something like this, although it is made in China, 2006, I guess keeping it with this would probably increase the value, even if it has the large made in China sticker on it. Maybe if I don't know if I took that off. That might offend people if I took off that, so I'll keep that like that. These are all shoes. Oh, goodness. So I still have stuff from that storage unit I bought in December. I'm not going to go through all these bins and boxes right now. I'll go through this bin and see what's in here. If there's anything even special. Yeah, there's like some random stuff. I still have like this, this little blue thing down there, that tray. That is all from the storage unit in December. Slowly, piece by piece. Like I've said a million times, these storage units, they're fun to do, but you're stuck with a lot of garbage for the most part. Fortunately, the last one I cleaned out for Kathy, that one's pretty much been all good stuff. I'd say 95% of the stuff I'm selling, keeping, or donating. Only about 5% of it's garbage, which is astronomical because most of these storage units, it's like 60%, 70% is garbage. But yeah, I'm still throwing away things from that storage unit I bought in December. So piece by piece every single week, it does go. But let's take a little gander in here. Lots of those garbage bags are actually shoes. But there's so much other things in here, like, I might find the other piece to this handcrafted glass Christmas ornament. Possibly. I hope these aren't Happy Easter. They aren't. They're Christmas boxes. What do we have here? Is this a candle? Oh, that's really nice. It's very festive-like. I wonder if we had a Christmas in July sale, would it sell well here? It's almost like all this Christmas stuff. I've done it one year. I think it was my first year. I saved every single Christmas item I found, whether it be in the trash, storage unit, auctions. I saved every single Christmas item I found, took it to the flea market, and I think I ended up making like $130. And I thought, man, I separated and saved everything. And $130, not like it's nothing, but the amount of work that went into separating, storage, all the stuff that went into it, traveling to the flea market, picking up box lots here and there. It was a lot of work for $130. But like I said, it's not like I'm saying that $130 isn't much. It's just saying that it was a ton of work. And although I thought I did really well, I didn't really sell a whole lot. I probably sold a quarter of a van load. And this was probably like early December I went to the flea market. Let it snow. I did notice there is a handful of stickers on this. So this is from Liberty Thrift Store, most likely just outside Quakertown. Looks like I picked the box, or the bin, of all Christmas stuff. These are some really nice boxes, though. Placemat, new floor mat. Yeah, looks like this is going to be all Christmas. So this episode started off with storage unit stuff. Oh, these are nice. That's very typical, but this is really nice. That would sell, I think, year-round. Although it is festive-like, there were a handful of peanut items, Charlie Brown stuff. I put that over there because I'll bring that to the flea market shortly. But I'll have to go through that peanut stuff and Charlie Brown stuff because some of it's collectibles and some of it is like Dollar General stuff. And I don't know, some stuff can be limited. Some things can be pretty valuable. This looks like it's all Christmas. So we kind of concluded this one. I don't know, maybe I'll wait until a couple months from now to try sell this bin. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff here. I'm slowly, piece by piece, I'm bringing this stuff up until the warehouse. Like I said, the warehouse is completely full of stuff. I also have to test this TV because I have a bunch of people a bunch of local friends who can use a television. And this is a beauty. And I don't want to, well, Scrapyard they take it for free, but I would much rather someone be able to use it if it works. Not just trying to make space here, trying to, repurpose things. So we'll see with that. But overall, another fun day. I'm going to continue to do some work right now. My brother and I are kind of working on the driveway. We're kind of re-edging the edge of the driveway because it's been in rough shape. The stones have been kicked over, plowed over, pushed over, blown over for probably the past 5 or 6 years, and finally starting to make that sharp edge again. Put down some new wood because the old wood was rotted. So working on some projects out here, but yeah, catch you guys next time, next venture. Thanks for coming along for another wonderful day of scrapping. I know a lot of people requested for more scrapping videos, and I definitely taken a kind of a break from going to the scrapyard in terms of filming that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed the video, smack like button, subscribe down below for more treasure hunts. Catch you guys next time, next adventure. Who knows what we'll get into. Until next time, have a great day. Keep living a dream. Peace.